first. This one is a find all solutions between 0 and 2 pi. So this is like the last two on the 5.4 worksheet that we did last time. And so when you look at part of this, I know what's tempting is to say, well, I'll just distribute that sign. But if we could do that, then there would be no need for these formulas. You can't distribute the sign. It's not a number, it's not a variable. It's a function of this stuff. So in place of this, you should have plugged in your new formula. Sine of the first times cosine of the second plus sine of the second times cosine of the first. All of that underlined in red becomes all of this in red. Then you also have a minus sine x, a plus 1. Somehow that's supposed to equal 0. Okay, so I want to combine like terms or simplify where I can. And so, like, I can't really do much with the sine of x, but the cosine of pi is -1. I know that because of unit circle, so I'll make that substitution. The sine of pi is 0, so I can make that substitution. So 0 times cosine, that's just going to go away. I've got a negative sign here, a negative sign here, so I could combine those together to get -2 sine x's. And now it looks pretty similar to some of the basic equation solving we did last semester. You could subtract the 1 over, divide the -2, and it would look like that. And then it should be familiar enough that you go to the unit circle and in the first revolution be able to say where is sine 1/2. So right here at pi over 6 and over there at 5 pi over 6. Now, I would say these are the harder question types because they're longer, so more opportunities for mistakes. But you can check these. So let me show you how to store in your calculator again because it makes it a lot easier. If I do all this work and I think pi over 6 is an answer, it means I should be able to tell my calculator, pi over 6 store as x. So using this store button above on. Then I type in the original equation, what is the sine of x plus pi minus the sine of x plus 1. And it's supposed to equal 0 because that's what question 69 says. So when I hit enter, I'm expecting this to be 0, and it's not. So either A, I made a mistake, or I didn't type it in right. This time I didn't type it in right. My calculator's in degree mode from earlier. Let me change this to radians. It thought it was pi over 6 degrees, which is not what we want. Okay, so try again. Pi over 6 for x. And that stuff on the left is supposed to equal that stuff on the right, and the stuff on the right is 0. So that checks that pi over 6 is an answer. I also thought 5 pi over 6 is an answer, so I could quickly store that in. Just type in the original problem again and make sure that it solves it. And if you hit second enter, it pulls up the last thing you typed in. You can just keep spamming second enter to keep pulling up the thing before it, so that way you don't have to type it all in again. So then I can confirm. When x is pi over 6, it comes out to 0. When x is 5 pi over 6, it comes out to be 0. So I'm sure both of those are correct. Doesn't guarantee you didn't lose an answer from doing some other kind of algebra that you shouldn't have done, but it does make sure that those are right. Obviously, if those weren't true, you would want to try to find your mistake before you moved on.